Hey there! I think about who might be listening to this, even as we speak. It's a great mystery, as life is. It's actually a pretty beautiful day in January, middle of January, in Tyler, Texas. And I haven't been, the last podcast I did was probably 5 weeks ago. A lot been going on, as you well know. And as we're in the midst of this great change and challenge, something pretty wild has happened. And I mean that with all the wild stuff going on, personally, I had a great and most interesting experience. This podcast, as you know, is based upon life experience, an event, a reflection of that event, and then maybe some open-ended thoughts or questions and suggestions from that. These tales from the road, these soul treasures from the road, continue to go on. And so even though I might, in my other podcast, I've talked about events on all my travels and journeys and things that happened all over the place in this world. This event that happened just recently belongs in this discussion. And I hope that it encourages you as well as make you go, huh, or whoa. And you think about it not only in the context of it happening to someone else, but in the very real context of the possibilities of a similar event happening to you. Maybe not with the same circumstances or the same character, but as far as in, let me make that point near the end. So, I just want to say, I keep trying to get ahead of myself, that I know there's a lot going on. Are you praying and asking the favor and movement of the Creator in this, of God Himself, of the Lord of all, the ruler of the kings of the earth? Have you prayed about that in trusting the future to Him? Good things are going to happen. Yes, be patient. Be patient and trust. It's come down to that. Be patient a while longer. Somewhere around December 20th, 21st, the exact date is, I don't know, is that it was late at night and I was going to bed. So in my one-bedroom apartment, I sat down, all the lights were off, and I sat down on the edge of the bed, and as happens sometimes, I had this thinking thought that came out in words. So I whispered, maybe even talked out loud a little bit, and I do that. We've established that I do that, talk out loud sometimes, not all the time, but I talk out loud. So as I was preparing for bed, I was wondering about what's going on in the world. Specifically, was Texas a good place for me? And I did say that. I said, is Texas a good place for me, out loud? And I said, I'm content here now, for the time being, or for the future, for the indefinite future. And I also said, but I'm willing to take off and go. Then I said, I know there's so much going on, as more, no more than you do. In fact, you know so much more than I do, as always. And sometimes I laugh out loud when I talk like that too. the one that is so gracious. And I said, you know, and here's what I did. I went, you know, truthfully, I never exaggerate. I never do anything but in all these podcasts before God and before you, I just say what it is and what happened, the truth. No big, I don't put all kinds of frills and bells and make it more dramatic than it already is. So remember that, please. Anyway, I said, you know, could you let me know somehow, some way that about these things that I'm asking about? I said I'm just wanting to try to understand and know my place is what I asked, and know my place in these things about not only the events of my personal life, but also the events of the changes and going on right now politically and with the nation a bit in an uproar. And I went to sleep. Let's move forward from around the 20th or 21st, after Christmas, 2021, just recently, to Tuesday, December 29th. So I'm at home. I had just done the few dishes. I had taken a shower. I was feeling all groovy, all, you know, clean for that period of time that you feel after that wonderful shower. And I didn't have the TV on. I didn't have any music on. It was quiet. So I have a nice comfortable chair I sit in the living room with a little table, with a table beside me I keep stuff on. So I sat down, grabbed my trusty iPad, and I flipped open, and I remember there was an article I wanted to read. So I found this article. It was something about something overseas. So I sat back in the chair, started to read the article with the iPad. So I'm sitting this way, TV's over this way, front door is right here, about 10, 12 feet away in the other part of the apartment. Maybe 3 minutes went by, at the most 5 minutes. It was quickly after I sat down and I had just started to read maybe a couple paragraphs in, after I got settled. And in the quietness of just sitting down, I heard a noise outside my door, like a scuffling, like a scuffling sound. Not real loud, but enough to catch my attention in the quietness. So I went, I wonder. It sounds like it's low to the door. And so I looked over that way. Not that I'd say anything, because the door's there. But I looked over that way and listened for a second. 5 seconds, 10 seconds went by. I didn't hear anything. I went, okay. So I turned back, picked up my iPad again to start to read, and I heard this, and then I heard on my door, at the very bottom, the bottom of the outside of my door that goes out into the walkway and the streets above, and the jail's across the street from me. So at the bottom of my door, front door, there's a strip of metal about like this that goes across, about like this. It just goes across the bottom of the front door. Not the very bottom, but near the bottom. It's right there. And so I heard and then I heard this on the front door right there. I heard 1, 2, 1, 2, pop, 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 pop on the metal. 1, 2, 1, 2. And I was like, whoa. I didn't go, whoa, but I went, wow. What's that? Someone's knocking on my front door. Someone's making a noise on my front door. So here's what I did. I slowly stood up. I walked 10 feet, 12 feet over to the door, right to the side of me. So let's say that now I'm facing the door. I'm facing the camera. Now I'm facing the door. So I'll walk up to the door. I have blinds on each side of the door, and they're closed. The street's out there, it's during the day, so I tend to keep the blinds pretty well closed most of the time. But they were closed, fully closed on both sides, had the light on. So I walked over the door. I thought, what is that? So you know where the handle is, so if I've been, the handle's down here, the door handle. So I bent over, got the slack that's right, the blind, it's about this big, bigger ones, not the smaller ones, the bigger ones. And I went, because I knew that right in front of the door would be right down there. I thought, what is that? So I went pretty slowly and just raised it up to look. And what I saw blew my mind. I raised it up slowly, not like this, but raised it up, and right there in front of the door was this really large red-tailed hawk standing at my front door. So when I raised it up, his eye, so he's facing the door, so he's facing the door, facing me, so his eye catches the movement or looks, and so as soon as I go to look, he's this far away from me, kind of looking this direction down. I'm near the door handle, and he's eyes right there, and he goes, and he locks that dark orb, you know, that dark orb on me. I'm like, shh, and we're locked. I mean, he locks it on me, and I'm a pigeon. I'm a rat. I'm a mouse. He has his gaze zeroed in on me, and I'm the prey. He's not. I'm the prey, and he's like locked it on me. So here's how it went down. I raise it up. I look. His eye locks on me, and we locked on each other, say, maybe 4 or 5 seconds. Long time. And I'm just caught. And he doesn't move. And I'm like, oh! Of course, I'm just, what would you do? What would you think? There, right this far away. And you have a red-tailed hawk at your front door, and you go, and he's got you. So this went on for 4 or 5 seconds, and we're just eye to eye. And here's what happened. He's got his eye on me. He's standing in the front door. You got to picture it. And he sees me, open it up. He's looking, I'm looking, and then suddenly he goes, turns, and he's off over the railing and out. It wasn't a small red-tailed hawk. It was a really good-sized red-tailed hawk, really. And I was like, what would you do? What would you do? You don't know, just like I didn't know. So I walked around I remember I just kind of walked around the apartment in the area. I just didn't stand. I stood there for maybe 15 seconds, just stood there. And I was walking around going, whoa, whoa, wow, wow. You know, what would you be thinking about? What would you be reacting to? What would you think about that? So I walked walked in the bedroom, kind of walked back. I just kind of walked around for a couple of minutes. Just not fast, just kind of walking around. And it wasn't like a group of thoughts. I was just kind of, my mind was blown. I was just, what was that about? I can't put it into a context. I can't figure it out. I mean, it's like, what's up with that? Like in all things, after something like that would happen to you, you finally sit down. So I made my way back around, finally ended up back at the chair, and I sat down. I was like, wow, a red-tailed hawk at my front door. And I was going, and I was like, did he knock on my door? And he stares at me, and we look at each other for a long time, and then he shakes. And I'll put it as I later processed it. He shakes like he was released from some spell, released from something. It means he just went after that stare down and flew off. Strange, isn't it? And this is downtown Tyler, Texas, Square, you know, and this is an enclosed area with doors coming down, 4 apartment doors, and I'm in the middle. And there's railings, and so this is all, yeah. Hawks, birds of prey don't come down and get down like that in the down and dirty, unless they're looking for a rat, or a pigeon, or a mouse, or something. Okay, you got that picture? So I'm sitting there for a good 30 minutes, just contemplating it, wondering about it. And then pops. I had asked a week before, 8 to 9 days before, if somehow, some way that my Lord, the Maker, the Creator, would be so kind as to confirm to me about my questions and about my asking, sincerely, honestly, respectfully, but also asking specifically for Him, for God, to confirm to me. What does reason say? What does faith say? What does faith say? What does reason say? And an explanation. These are good questions to ask, aren't they? I know what I think, and I know what's confirmed in my spirit in that, what I think. I won't put that on you, but I know what I think on that. The hawk, you know, and then later I'm looking at, but you know, the hawk, you know, and what are some attributes of a bird of prey, of the hawk, of an eagle, of a hawk? You know, they fly above, nothing. Their eye misses not many things. They can spot the most minute movement as they fly above. So they're really, really excellent hunters and really understand the terrain, understand what's going on, and they see from above, and they take in a lot that when you're at ground level, you just miss because of perspective. So I took encouragement from that, and that's my nature too, to pay attention to things and to discern it not only on the physical nature of what's going on, but if there's any truth in the realms of faith and life and wisdom to be gained from that, understanding to be gained from that. So there was several things about if you see a hawk while dreaming, it's a good thing. You know, and of course you got all these different people from different perspectives. And it talked about the hawk with a snake. If he's ever carrying a snake, that's a good thing. If you're a lot of it was dreaming about hawks. Or if you see a hawk that flies around, that, oh, that's some kind of, supposed to be some kind of sign to you. You know, that's all pretty, I don't know. I don't know you know, that a lot of people from different perspectives like to place meaning on that. And I don't say yes or no to that, because it's not my experience, and I don't know. But there was nothing on there, and all these things, a couple hours worth of trying to look and see what information is, just so I can get a perspective of what others have said. You know, there was not one thing ever about what does it mean if an actual hawk comes and knocks on your door and waits for a response and then stares you down, shakes its head, turns, and flies away in a place that hawks never come. Pretty cool, huh? There is a mystical aspect to faith, but there's also a very objective reality to an interaction with the Creator, especially when one asks an honest question. This is not the only time this has happened. I can count other times, but on one hand, where I've asked for something and I saw soon afterwards, or a period afterwards, I went, that directly gives me exactly an answer that I want yes to, or like wow to, on a request I had made beforehand. I know, subjective in a lot of ways if you're an observer. If you're a participant, faith is a whole different thing. And I'm talking about, we have, Scripture and the Gospels and all of the history and the Jewish Bible, what we call the Old Testament. We know we have all that. That is just absolutely fabulous, objectively fabulous. An encouragement about faith and pursuing faith and witnessing and in great evidence and all those things. But there is also the life now. So in debating whether to share this in Soul Treasures from the Open Road, I thought, well, yes, this is a soul treasure. I hope it encourages you. This is a soul treasure from my life of open road. And I'm still on that open road, and I will be until I continue a eternal open road that, of course, everyone's invited to. He is good. God is good. He's a good Father. And like a father does, he interacts with his children. All of them. Everyone is special to Father. Everyone is special. So I wanted you to hear that special interaction that I had with a hawk, and even more so, how that one who has a history of pursuing things, pursuing truth, pursuing life, putting it to the test, taking risks in order to pursue it. Not because I like risks, that's just the way my journey has gone. And so it has been extremely rewarding. It has been extremely rewarded in my life. Continues to be so. And I've not always been a good boy. I know what you think. He's such a good boy. And I've not always been a good boy. So it's not about that there's something that's special about that girl, that guy, but not special about me. You shouldn't think that way or believe that, because that would be a lie. So may I leave you with this thought. I wish I could talk to those of you that I know that listen to this, and if there's some that I don't know, I sure wish I could meet you. You know, have some dinner, have some wine, have a beer, have a cocktail if you so desire. Or not. Iced tea. I love iced tea. I love it all. But if I could leave you with this, don't be afraid to ask. This is why I shared this with you, this real event in my life, this confirmation when I asked for the Creator, for the Maker, for the Savior, for God. He really does love us. He proves it all the time. We just need to pay more attention in this way. May I encourage you, even if you're not a believer, but you're listening, or sort of like wondering, you can still ask sincerely and honestly for the Maker, for God. You can say, can you bring about something, an event, something, I don't know what, and help me understand you or what is true? And leave it there. Do you dare put God to the test of an honest question? Are you that brave? Are you that honest? Are you that humble? Humble bravery. Gotta love that. Humble bravery. That should be you. That's strength. That is power and that is strength. So, as you're putting this in your pipe and you're smoking these thoughts, as it's rolling around, as it rolls around your head, hopefully is rolling around your soul, you would consider that there might be a time. Maybe it's something happens and you call out. Even if you haven't before, you do very little, or you're not sure about that, call out. And the key is, when He does answer, that you recognize it. That you're not afraid to acknowledge God in that. And by doing so, you have experienced what it is to be fully human and what it is to be created in the image of the one who made us, who made you. It's fabulous and it's real. It's real. And it makes you smile all the way from the inside to the out. So, I'll leave that with you. Are you ready for someone to knock on your door? Ask, seek, and knock yourself. You guys are great. Glad to be with you again. I am. And we'll continue with these, hopefully. The things that are going on now, you be patient. You be patient. It'll soon work out. Nothing but love.